Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw, and I'm here with Florence Lee, who is the Director, International Markets and Sales for Songtsam Hotels and Lodges and Songtsam Tours, which is in Tibet. So we wanted to talk to her about this pretty exotic product. Obviously, right now, it may be a little challenging to get there, but hopefully not for long. And we wanted to get you all ready to book this wonderful, wonderful experience. And we're going to find out about all this and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Florence, first of all, how are you and where are you? And we'll tell a little secret is you're not in Tibet. You're actually here in New York. So tell us about that and how are you doing?
Yes, hello, James. Nice to meet you here. And now I'm actually based in New York. Yes, overlooking the international market for Songtsam Hotel Group.
Okay, that's great. Now, tell us a little bit about what does Songtsam mean? What's the translation?
So Songtsam is actually a Tibetan language. So it's from Buddhist philosophy. The meaning is paradise.
Oh, okay. So we're going to have an experience like paradise when we go to Tibet, right?
Absolutely.
Now tell us a little bit about the history of the company. I understand your father, and forgive me if I mispronounce his name, but Baima Duoji?
Yes.
Okay.
Baima Duoji.
And he started out as a Tibetan documentary filmmaker and then founded Songtsam 21 years ago. So you've been around for a while. What was his goal and his vision for the company?
Right. So my father was a documentary filmmaker 20 years back. And by that time, he was interested in telling the stories and culture of his homeland to people all over the world. And later on, he figured out that to develop a kind of boutique hotel is also a good way to showcase the essence of the Tibetan culture and also the value and also the spirit. Mm-hmm. And then there is a inscription, a Tibetan inscription, saying that there is a very mystic kingdom called Shambhala, which is located in his hometown, but in another dimension. So ever since he was very young, he always wanted to find the secret pathway to go to that secret kingdom, but he couldn't really find it. So later on, he thought, okay, maybe I can create a kind of mystic land by myself, so that whoever comes to stay with us will feel that they are staying with a mystic land in another dimension. And people who live in that dimension, they are really super intelligent. They refrain from all the suffering and they know the source of the happiness. So that is how we started.
That's great. Well, it sounds very, very similar to our famous story of Shangri-La. Which is the same idea of having a paradise that's protected and brilliant people sitting in this valley and you have to get there. So it sounds like you're trying to create that kind of experience, right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So actually the word Shangri-La is originally from Shambhala. So Shambhala, it is the secret kingdom, and actually the place where my father was born and where our first hotel is located is in Shangri-La.
That's amazing. Now, that sounds like right away everybody wants to go to Shangri-La. I've seen the movie twice. I want the reality, right? So
right.
So we'll see. Now let's talk a little bit about the hotels and lodges themselves and the tours. How many hotels and lodges do you have?
For now, we have 12 properties in operating, and we are expecting the next one in March this year.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think I read that it's Songtsam Dalin Lodge, which is, as you said, opening in March. Tell us about the experience. What are these lodges and hotels like? I mean, how many rooms does each one have, and where is there dining, public areas? What are they like?
Yes. So basically, we have two sub-brands, one called Songtsam Boutique Lodge. So all of those properties are really small, only 10 to 20 rooms. Okay. And they are all located in very remote and isolated villages, either in Yunnan province or in Tibet. So because my father, he used to be a filmmaker, so he knows where can you get the most beautiful view. And then he picked those locations to like develop his properties. And also he chose locations that are so remote that even backpackers, they couldn't find a way. So
Wow.
he really wanted to showcase the authenticity of like the hidden destinations, the hidden villages in those areas. Mm-hmm.
Now you also have Songtsam tours. So obviously this is the entity that gives you the activities and all the things that you can to interact with the local area, right?
Yes, that's our like travel agency. We offer like travel services, escorted travel services. We have our fleet of cars. We have our own guides. Mm-hmm. So that's for Songtsam tours. Mm-hmm.
No, that's great. Now tell us a little bit about the new property, Dalan Lodge. Will that be any different from the existing properties that you have, or is that going to be a little special?
It's a little bit special because the location of this new property is in eastern Tibet. Okay. So eastern Tibet for now, it's a totally untamed and untouched land. So in eastern Tibet, you cannot find any other luxury accommodation besides Songtsam. Okay. And the location itself is very close to the deepest canyon in the world. It's called Yalu Zambu Grand Canyon. Okay. And also you can see the most beautiful snow mountain there called Nanjar Bawa Snow Mountain. So that's the unique selling point of this property.
No, it sounds beautiful, and that'll be open in March, so we're looking forward to that one. Now, let's talk a little bit about, I understand that you really have a mission and a goal for this is, involving a strong commitment to sustainability and preservation of culture, and sort of helping to support the local economic development of all your local communities and the environment. Tell us a little bit about that and how that's worked.
So besides spreading the culture and also support the local community, we also want to find a way to help people for the spiritual awakening. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each and every of them. So for spreading the culture, like in some very remote villages, there are like local handicraft traditions. For instance, there's a kind of technique for making pottery called a black pottery making. Mm-hmm. This particular kind of handicraft, which can be dated back to 3,000 years ago, mm-hmm. but like it's nearly going to be extincted because the young people in the village they don't want to like stay in the village and find a living with that that tradition. They want to go to big cities to find a better job. So my father, he really wants to support the tradition of this handicraft culture. So we implemented this experience of making black pottery into our tour activities. Mm-hmm. So we brought a lot of tourists to the local remote village to experience that, and later on they can get souvenirs out of it. So we created a lot of revenue out of it. So right now they don't need to really worry about to preserve the handicraft anymore. It's still there. So that's one thing. So the second thing is we really created a lot of job opportunities in local village. As I said that some of the small villages, they are facing one issue is that young people, they tend to leave, and then only like old people and young kids, they stay in the village. So in order to resolve that problem, because we put each of our property in very remote, we tend to like give them career opportunities.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, for example, like we have one property in Tacheng with only 11 rooms, and all of the staff for now are from the local village, and they are all like women power. So every time, yes. So they hardly receive any kind of education before, and before we went to the village, they just go farming every day. So ever since we showed up, they find a way to work with us, and then we provide like training for them, and then they get the chance to really communicate with guests from all over the world, and they are really happy about it. So like every time when I go back, I tend to like communicate with them. So I used to talk to the manager there and ask her like, are you happy to work here?
Yeah.
Do you miss to, maybe to find another position in the big city to work? And then she said to me that she's actually very happy because she can stay at home and she can take care of her kids and she can take care of her parents. And then there's nothing better than this. Mm-hmm.
No, that's great, and I love the fact that you're getting everyone from locations, and indeed each lodge and hotel and lodge reflects that local culture and art. It sounds like from what you're describing, and that's what really people are seeking in this case. They want to see the real paradise, not something that's. And we all know. I know you're schooled in hotels, and we don't need a cookie cutter hotel in the middle of Tibet. So that's probably what they do exist. I know, but in this case. Whether that's a very luxurious cookie cutter, but or not, what you're delivering is something totally different, right?
Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the guests can interact with the local artists, storekeepers, see other restaurants, right? So they're really in the community, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And we also, because we are pretty resourceful in this region, so we know some like top-notch artists, and we can arrange special classes for guests as well. Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing is, I understand, you think of this is a cultural product, but you also can deliver a certain form of luxury. And indeed, Songtsam Tours, I understand, is now a Virtuoso preferred supplier. And is that the best way to book all the hotels and lodges through Songtsam Tours?
Yes, of course. They can book through our official website directly. Yes, indeed.
And what is the appeal to luxury travels? It is this experience that you deliver, the closest to this new paradise, and that's what luxury travelers are seeking?
Yes, definitely. Like luxury travelers, they are seeking for some like unique, life transformative experience in untouched and untamed land, and we are, 100% fit for that market. Mm-hmm. And not only we have very good facilities, but also the service is also like personalized and unique.
Now, how long would a typical stay be with the tour and everything else at your hotels and lodges? How long should people plan for?
1 to 2 weeks, generally. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And of course, now we got an issue right now. How do you get to Tibet from the U.S.? Obviously, right now we have some challenges, but normally, how would you get to Tibet from the U.S.?
Normally, either fly from from New York to Shanghai or Beijing, and
right.
transfer from Beijing or Shanghai, those big hubs, to either Tibet Lhasa or to Lijiang or Shangri-La. There is direct flight.
Oh, wow. Now, right now, of course, my understanding is China and Tibet and Yunnan are really closed to U.S. travelers. We're not sure when that's going to open up. Have you been hearing anything? I mean, obviously, the U.S. is a hotbed of the virus right now, and I don't think the Chinese want to have it back again, and certainly not people in Tibet either. But so, have you any indication when we might see travel to Tibet?
Yeah, so there is a Tibetan area in Yunnan which is now open,
really?
But actually you have to be quarantined for 2 weeks if you go there. So it's kind of not so easy. But I believe that maybe in the future, in the second half of this year or next year, it will be open again.
No, hopefully that'll be the case. And I mean, if I could quarantine for 14 days in paradise, it wouldn't be too bad. But so now, right now, obviously, what is the COVID-19 situation in Tibet and Yunnan? Is our impression is sort of like for the rest of China, although there have been some resurgence, but not like here. So people, it's really pretty much controlled now, or what would you say?
It's actually pretty much controlled and already recovered. Not on full-fledged, but 95%. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's doing better than you and I here in New York. That's for sure. But and maybe parts of Florida. But we'll see what happens there. Now, how are you working with the travel agency community here? Obviously, you became a virtuoso supplier to promote Songtsam. And are travel advisors actually booking your products now for the future?
Oh yeah, definitely, yes. Because of the lead time for international travel is quite long. So we did receive some requests from different agencies, not only here in US, but also from Europe.
No, that's great. And I know that people this is kind of a trip you want to plan in advance for. It's not like a weekend getaway. That's for sure. Now, how are you promoting Songtsam to the travel agency community and to the public?
Regarding what, may I know?
Well, in terms of getting the word out that this incredible you can go to Shambhala, Shangri-La. I mean that's all you have to do is probably show those movies and people will start to come because it's such a iconic destination that everybody thinks that's what Tibet is, right?
Yes, exactly. We have a few very famous videos that can showcase it for promotion. Yes.
Okay. So you're doing showcases, any webinars and things like that, or?
Oh yeah. Before COVID, we went to a lot of high-end travel shows, Further East and Pure, and some traveler-made shows.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And we're coming up on a show that normally right this week would be normally the New York Times travel show, but it's not. It didn't occur this year, so we're hoping for next year. But we'll see how that goes. Tell us a little about it. Now, if you and your father were to have one wish for each Songtsam guest who you hosted, what would it be? What do you want them to take away from this really incredible, unique experience?
Yeah, so he has this vision that we hope our guests not only enjoy this mystic land, bring home a lot of very wonderful memory, but perhaps there will be a little bit spiritual awakening, which can came along with their travel.
No, and I'm sure it's a place, especially now at this time after a year of being, in the pandemic, a lot of people are going to be looking for that kind of spiritual experience, I think, to get back and discover new cultures and discover new ways to understand the world. So it sounds like you might have the perfect product to get us out of this when it's all over. That sounds like amazing. Now, where can travel advisors go to get more information on Songtsam hotels and lodges and Songtsam tours?
We have a website, www.songtsam.com. They can check it on our official website.
That's great. Well, Florence, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk about this. I didn't know we could actually go to Shangri-La. Well, it's Shambhala, but it sounds like an incredible experience, one that I'd love to try one of these days. I have never been over. At one point, I was going to go to Tibet, and it was actually after a virtuoso meeting at one point, but I just couldn't get everything together to get there. So hopefully someday soon we'll have a chance to get over there. But for all of you out there that want to send your clients to paradise, this sounds like it's a good bet. Again, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
It's lovely talking to you. Thank you.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.